I want you to become a spiritual teacher because the world needs more spiritual teachers. Actually, let me fine tune that. It would be nice if the world had more spiritual teachers because there's a lot of unconscious people out there. I mean, come on. You are needed. I'm talking to you right now. You're thinking about becoming a spiritual teacher. You want to be a spiritual teacher. How do you get started? What do you do? I mean, I've been a spiritual teacher since pretty much from the moment I was awakened. And that's a perfect place to start. Hey, I was just awakened. What the hell's going on with me? So today I have gathered together all of the advice that I've gotten from the various people who've mentored me, doing tons of research on how to be a better spiritual teacher. And I've compiled it all in this presentation, this episode for you today, because I would love it if everybody that watched this video were to become a spiritual teacher. That's a whole lot of consciousness being raised, ain't it? So today on this episode, I'm going to share some things with you. We're going to talk about some things because it's important. I want there to be spiritual teachers. I really, really do. And you know what? I think the unconscious people in the world, they're going to need some guidance too. It's like an onboarding thing. Like, hey, you woke up? Hey, come on here. Let me lend you a hand. All right. So today, let's get started on this episode. Let's go.
He was once a storm in human form, sharp tongue, cold soul, heart worn and torn, living like a ghost who missed his grave till the spirit sang out and called him brave. He got rewired by the great unknown, heard the call like a dial tone to the bone. So pull up a chair, enjoy the glow. This is the Shaman Patrick Show.
Trying to find the best way into this episode. And I think it is get over yourself. Get over yourself. When Merrick and I decided to not do spirituality anymore, not talk about shamanism, just kind of keep it to ourselves, and do music, I got back into it because I worked at a rehab. And when I was a tech, I didn't go there to become a teacher. I didn't go there. I thought I was just going to be a tech, help other people get sober. But on my first day there, they said, we need you to sit in on this class. And I'm like, okay. And he said, because you're going to be teaching classes. And I'm like, okay. What? I'm not a teacher. And he goes, well, you're going to have to be. You're going to have to be. And so, a couple of weeks later, it became time for me to teach my first class. And they said, pick something out of the book and teach it. We had this book of materials and it was all different types of recovery, different recovery things. So I picked something in the book. I made copies of the materials and I went to teach my first class. And it went horribly. It was horrible. There were about 17 guys in their first 30 days of recovery. They put me through it. It was so bad that I went after the class. I went into the supply closet and I was crying. I was hiding out. It was so bad. And another tech, another coworker, he came to find me. Like nobody could find me. And I was in the closet crying. And I told him, I said, I failed. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to do this. And he said, well, did you learn something? And I said, well, yeah, I learned that I can't come in there like a know-it-all. And he goes, okay, well, if you learned something, it wasn't a failure. And my classes got better and better and better. And there are people today who talk about some of the classes I used to teach at that rehab. But I became a better teacher because I was willing to fail at it. And I failed a lot during those classes, but I loved teaching classes. And then it became, somebody pulled me aside and said, Patrick, you should go back to doing YouTube videos. It would be a shame if nobody heard what you had to teach, if nobody heard from you ever again. And that's why we got started back on YouTube, because I think it would be a shame. I mean, I've had a lot of experience, and I'm also getting better and better at articulating the material. So I want to remind everybody that I've been doing this since 2014, and I had my near-death experience and awakening in 2013. But by December of the following year, I want to highlight this article that I wrote on Medium at that time. Medium used to be the place to go for writing, and this was called A Shaman's Guide to the Dark Night of the Soul. And I wrote it in 2014, and it has gotten, I can't believe how many people have read this. I've made $28 on it over the years, and it's been read 29,000 times. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's cool that many people have read a piece of writing that I wrote in the thick of a dark night of the soul. And some people have said that this is the best article they've ever read on the subject. And I think this article may have saved my life. And I think it's amazing. And so why would I not want to be a spiritual teacher? If somebody's life gets saved by something that I wrote, do you realize the implications of that? And it's not an ego thing at all. It's like, oh gosh, if you help people get sober, if you help people awaken spiritually, if you share what you went through, you can actually save people's lives. It's a humbling thing. And for me to shut up and to not do it because it made other people feel some type of way. Who did it make feel some type of way? Oh, you'd be surprised. The people who wanted me to hang this up. It shocked me. It shocked me. Some people were willing to rob other people of the benefit of the pain, the suffering, the trauma, all that stuff. I got through it. I'm an example that you can heal from almost anything. And the healing keeps going. So I'm sharing that with you today to let you know that when I wrote that article in 2014, I knew that it was all going to be okay. I knew when I made my first YouTube video, where I knew that at some point, hey, I'm going to be a shaman. I'm going to be a practicing shaman. How did I know that? I don't know. I had mentors who are telling me. Some of them are pretty damn famous who helped me out. So this is not done on my own. It was a group effort. It was a group effort of shamans, psychics, mystics, even a couple witches in there. And I know that even though I may not speak to them anymore, I know that they helped me because they knew. And I want to pass that on to you today. I want to give you the encouragement to keep going. If you know that you're going to be a teacher someday, you can imagine it. It was clear to me. I didn't know I was going to, I imagined that I would be teaching people in a classroom setting. I didn't know it was going to be in a rehab, but maybe it'll be in a classroom setting in the future. I don't know, but I'm still doing the same thing that I was doing 10 years ago. I'm just better at articulating it and practicing and doing it and having your guys' support in helping me articulate it even better. Hey, this is a co-experiencer thing. Because you're helping me help other people. And isn't that amazing? Isn't that just dang amazing? So I have a presentation for you, and let me get a drink of water. And some of the things that I talk about in this presentation, when I was reading over it, it sounds a little like, don't do this, do this, do that. Just get over that. Just get over that, because you don't have to do anything that I say in this video to be a spiritual teacher, but hopefully it might jog something in you and let you know that it's not only possible for anyone to become a spiritual teacher, but it's almost kind of a sacred duty when you know stuff. Like if you know how to help people and you say nothing, that's very selfish. And I don't think you can keep this stuff to yourself. I don't think you can keep it to yourself at all. I just didn't know that I would have to battle close personal friends and family to be able to do this. I didn't know that. And I don't talk about that in this slide, and I don't want to spend too much time on it. But I was so surprised at just how non-receptive, non-supportive people were. And so becoming a spiritual teacher in your personal life, it might cause some people feel some type of way. But it's their ego. It's their pain body. Because if you become a spiritual teacher, the ego is not going to be able to run the show anymore, and neither is the pain body. When you start doing shadow work, things change. When you heal, things change, as it should. It should change. So let's get started with today's presentation. So you want to be a spiritual teacher. Congratulations, you've officially decided to wade into one of the most dangerous professions on earth, teaching humans about spirituality. Before you start printing business cards that say, Ascended Master of TikTok, let's be clear. Being a spiritual teacher isn't about always wearing divine robes, smug selfies in Bali, or racking up likes with word salad quotations. It's about doing your own inner demolition work and then helping others navigate their mess without becoming a narcissistic cult leader. Spiritual teachers don't really teach. They help people remember what their soul already knows. All we do is jog people's memory in various ways. Keep in mind, these are suggestions only, and these are things that I have learned from other teachers and mentors and my ever-present non-physical teachers. Like I said, it was kind of a group effort. Also, watching videos from other spiritual teachers really helped me. One in particular was Brenda Turner. Brenda Turner was she's the one that kind of gave me my final push. And when she commented on one of the videos I made, I was like, oh my gosh, my hero, Brenda Turner. She really did help me. She doesn't teach spirituality anymore, but she did give me a lot of pointers via one of her videos. So, Brenda Turner, I love you. Brenda Turner was basically the person that said, get the fuck over yourself. It's not about you. It's about other people. And that's something I want to share with you. If you decide to be a spiritual teacher, it's no longer about you anymore. You got to be passionate about doing the work. Some people say, Patrick, how do you make a video every day? How do I not make a video every day? It's service work for me. I'm fired up every day because I know that one of the videos that I could make is going to help somebody get sober. Something that I say is going to jog somebody's memory and they'll be able to forgive somebody else. Like every time I make a video, it's like, it's an opportunity to be of service to others. I love it. I love it. I can't not do it. So this is a good time to examine why you want to be a spiritual teacher. Before you start handing out teachings like Halloween candy, ask yourself, why do I want to do this? Be brutally honest. Is it about being of service? Do you genuinely want to help people wake up, heal, and suffer less? Are you ready to listen more than you talk and to walk people through the mud without needing applause? That's the right track. Now, I'm a natural performer and I love theater and being on stage, and you get feedback in a live situation. But on YouTube, you don't get the feedback. Like if I say something funny, I don't hear y'all laughing. The only time I know that I've said something funny is if I listen to it back and I laugh, or if Merrick laughs really loud. Like I'm not trying to be funny or tell jokes. I'm really not. I'm just being myself. And I guess I'm just a naturally funny person. But the cool thing is that when you're doing it on YouTube, you don't get that feedback. And sometimes people will leave a comment, but I listen to videos and I'm changed by YouTube videos, and I don't ever give those people feedback. So it's the stuff that you do. It's a very weird thing if you come from an entertainment or performing background to not get that feedback from the audience, especially when it's just me talking. But it's just me talking. And I know that many people just click off. Most of the people who have seen this video have already clicked off. They've already decided this video is not for them, which is weird to me. To think that I'll make videos that nobody will ever see, or that some people will only see half of. That's why I repeat myself a lot, because I know that some people may never see some of the videos where I explain things. That's why spiritual teachers repeat things, because sometimes things have to be repeated over and over again until we get it into our head. Or is it about you? Do you secretly want validation, admiration, or a following because it feels good to be called wise one? If so, pump the brakes. That's your ego playing dress up as compassion. And that's the thing about, is it about service or is it about getting validation? I made it really pure. Like, I want to replace the salary that I got from my last job. Yes, it's about service. Yes, it's about being there for others. But at the same time, I know I need a job. So I thought it was worth the effort to at least make a living doing this. What a concept. I mean, I was making a living working in a rehab, doing something similar, but now I'm just doing it on YouTube. And I think that is a plausible thing, a doable thing. And it's something that anybody can do if they choose to. It's not out of the realm of possibility to make $13 an hour from YouTube. It's not. That's easy to achieve if you want to do it. Essentially, if you want to. But is it true service versus performance? Being a spiritual teacher is about showing up for others, not solely building your personal fan club. The moment you're excited about your brand, wait, let me say this. The more you're excited about your brand than the people you serve, you've already lost the plot. The hard truth, if your motive isn't rooted in love and service, you'll eventually burn out, screw people up, or turn into the next Netflix documentary about cult leaders. Do it for others, not for your own dopamine hits. And that's where praise doesn't matter and criticism doesn't matter. And what other people think about you doesn't really matter. It shouldn't. Because what is your role to teach? Much of what I talk about, I'm just repeating from other teachers. And that's what we all do. I mean, we have our own experiences that we talk about, but it's kind of all the same thing when you get right down to it. And I know that some of the things that I have said to people have really disturbed them and upset them. And when they get really upset, I say, I'm just quoting books here. I'm just quoting books here. They're not mad when I read from a book, but they get mad when it comes from me. That's the ego. You got to see it. Sometimes teaching people about the ego, you will see it in others. You definitely will. But who the hell are you? Seriously, who do you think you are? You teaching people about spirituality? You making YouTube videos about meditation or healing? You writing a book? Isn't that a little audacious? And yes, why not you? Every teacher you admire had that exact moment of doubt. Eckhart Tolle sat on a park bench until he realized he had something worth sharing. Wayne Dyer looked at a bookshelf full of self-help books and thought, yeah, I can do this better. Gabor Mate saw the train wreck of mainstream medicine and said, nope, there's a deeper cause here. Teal Swan survived trauma, stitched herself back together, and then turned around to help others do the same. Now, regardless of how you feel about Teal Swan, many people have been helped by her teachings, and other people say they have been harmed by her teachings. And I think that if you're a polarizing spiritual teacher, you're probably doing something right. I'm going to watch her documentary on Hulu in the next couple of days, because some of you are like really not happy with Teal, and others of you are like, Teal saved my life. So spiritual teachers are going to be polarizing. They are. But she does shadow work. Like she gets in there, and her methods might be confrontational to some people, but some people like that confrontational stuff. I personally like the confrontational stuff because I want to heal. I want to heal. So pick your favorite teacher. There was a moment where they had to consciously decide, I'm going to do this thing. They weren't born with permission slips from the universe. They weren't flawless sages dropping out of the womb with a best-selling book deal. They just decided. So who do you think you are? You're someone who is making the same decision. And maybe, just maybe, that's the point. Now, aren't you glad, for those of you who were helped by a book or a teacher or even a song? Let's look at it this way. Don't you know that in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, up until recently, it wasn't easy to record a song. It wasn't easy. It costs money. You have to book the studio time. You have to do all that stuff. And if you were in a band, you had to eat a lot of shit before you got to the point where somebody could actually hear your song on the radio. And so the same with books. If you write a book, you used to have to find and submit it to an agent, get an agent, and go through all that stuff. And so it's no different with spiritual teachers and spiritual books. Even though they are spiritual people, they still have to go through the process of submitting it to an agent, playing gigs that they don't want to play. I mean, Abraham Hicks, Esther talked about them doing, what's the word? Having seminars where hardly anybody showed up. And so to be a spiritual teacher, you're going to have to eat shit. I look at it as like being in a band. You're going to have to play a lot of gigs that you don't want to play. Like I've made videos that have gotten 0 views. And some videos have gotten 20 views. And I think they're really good, but it's not up to me. And anybody who breaks through the algorithm, sometimes people break through instantly. Sometimes it takes people decades to break through. But the message, when it connects with people, that process will also become part of that spiritual teaching. I'm glad that I wasn't universally accepted as a spiritual teacher 10 years ago, because I had a lot more learning and growing to do. Even though I might have had an intellectual understanding of some of these topics, I needed some real world grit. I needed some gristle. I needed to sober up, straighten out. And I had to go through a lot more pain. I definitely did there. But aren't you glad that your favorite teacher today went through the process of getting a book published? You cannot have much of an ego when you do that kind of stuff, because the ego is going to tell you this is a waste of time. No one's going to want to read your book. No one's going to want to do this. Even our book, The Machinations of Ego, I've had 2 people come up to me who haven't read it and told me that I shouldn't have written that book, that the subject had already been talked to death, and that we don't need another book about the ego. And I'm like, but have you read that book? They're like, don't need to. That's ego. If you want to read our book, you could do so. It's on our website right now, The Machinations of Ego. Get it, read it, wake the fuck up at concreteshamans.com. Also, let me give you a heads up. Our Ender of Minds deck, a Lovecraftian tool to break the spell of thought, is coming to Kickstarter. It has 78 cards channeling the unsettling energy of Lovecraftian archetypes, dream beast, mind leeches, cosmic parasites, and psychic viruses. It comes with the deluxe hardcover guidebook with lore-rich entries, terrifying insights, and direct spiritual lessons. If you're a freaky spiritual person like me who loves the darkness, you will love this deck, the Ender of Minds. So that's the promo for this, because eventually you're going to have your own teachings. You will. But if you're thinking that you can't be a spiritual teacher because you're not there yet, well, shut the fuck up. Don't wait until you're perfect. If you wait until you're perfect to start teaching, you'll die waiting. Perfection is a moving target. The ego dangles in front of you to keep you stuck. Some of the best teachers didn't begin their work on a mountaintop with a halo. They started in the gutter, in the middle of heartbreak, or clawing their way out of addiction, grief, or chaos. They didn't wait until the dust settled. They taught while they were still coughing through the smoke. You don't need to be flawless. You need to be honest. People don't relate to perfect gurus. They relate to someone who's bleeding, scarred, and still standing. The wound you've lived through is what makes you relatable. Your cracks are where the light gets out. So don't sit around thinking, once I've meditated for 10,000 hours and achieved celestial abs, then I'll start teaching. Start where you are. Your mess might be the exact medicine someone else needs to see in real time. And damn, ain't that the truth? I love listening to spiritual teachers who are just starting out, who don't have a whole lot of ego about it. Sometimes they're trembling when they speak. And I love that. Some raw, real stuff. I listen to all types of people on YouTube. I love it when there's a video from somebody that is just now starting out. And I love that because the process of building a YouTube channel and being a spiritual teacher will eviscerate your ego. It'll eviscerate it. And I think it's pretty wonderful. And I've also seen people, myself included, try to do content that we think other people are going to want and what other people are doing. And it's a beautiful fucking process. A spiritual teacher who starts a YouTube channel, it's a beautiful fucking process to go through. I love it. I love it. So while you might be a mess when you start teaching, many people are. I mean, I remember Teal Swan's first video. She was reading from a script. I remember Aaron Abke's first videos where he was just like stilted and very unsure of himself. And you get better over time. And it's important to not stay a mess. Yes, start teaching even if you're still in the rubble, but don't camp out there. Nobody needs another forever wounded healer making a brand out of their breakdown. Document your progress. Show people how the practices actually change you. If you're preaching meditation, let's see how you went from rage tweeting at strangers to actually pausing before you explode. If you're talking about forgiveness, show us how you stopped texting your ex and finally moved on. The power of teaching isn't in the drama of the hole you crawled out of. It's in the arc. People want to see the practices work. They want proof that spirituality isn't just poetic nonsense, but something that transforms lives. So yes, you can begin as a beautiful disaster, but the point is growth. Heal, evolve, level up. Don't just sit in the mud journaling about your trauma forever. Show us that the mud can grow lotus flowers. And the videos that you make today are going to be evidence later that this stuff works. It's going to be the evidence that this stuff works. Do you want to see a video from me when I was at my worst? Let's look at that now. This was in 2016. And I had purple hair and purple clothes. I had a purple shirt and a blue. I was a fucking mess. I was. And I was still teaching. I was probably teaching people that I was also on a lot of psychiatric drugs here. A lot of them. And so if somebody can look at this video and say, oh, fuck. Like, people were still working with me. I think people were working with me back then because they felt sorry for me. And I was going through some really rough shit. I was just fresh out of the mental hospital, I think. Look at this apartment that I was in. I don't even know what all this shit was on the wall. I don't know. I had this big rosary, this gigantic rosary. I was probably drunk during this video, as I was a lot. I was drunk a lot. Might have even been on pain pills too, if I think about it. But let's just listen to a little bit of this and see what sort of cockamamie shit I was talking about.
They're getting down really, really deep. And, oh, where's my rip it? Where's my rip it?
Oh, God, girl. What is that? Oh, God, girl.
Because I quit drinking coffee so much. Because, but I do drink Rip It. Trying to get a sponsorship for Rip It. Maybe it'll happen someday, maybe it won't.
I think I was joking about that. I don't even know. I was so fucking drunk. Look at this shit.
We should do a GoFundMe for Rip It to support Patrick John Coleman's channel.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so Rip It. Rip reality apart. Rip it.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. It's hard to watch.
They're about to rip reality apart.
Oh, I was in so much pain. We don't have to watch much more of this.
They're working very hard. They're discovering things, and they're going hardcore. They're not stopping. They're like, okay, so here's like one example. Okay, so a scientist looked at an atom and he recorded that atom. He recorded his vision of that atom. So then another scientist looked at the same atom, but it changed.
Okay, I can't watch one more. So anyway, start where you are. Start where you are, because you will get better. You'll either die or you'll get better. So don't stay a mess. And I purposely found one of the worst videos of me that I can find. I think there's worse videos of me, but it's crazy. And even though somebody might look at that stuff and say, well, Patrick, you ruined your reputation. You were drunk on camera. Like, look at that. But I think that is evidence that what we talk about here, it really works. You can recover, you can get sober, and you can even fuck up your reputation really, really bad. I really did fuck up my reputation by being that fucking crazy on camera. But at the same time, I was dealing with a lot of pain. I was I was on so many psychiatric drugs. That's evidence of how fucked up psychiatry can make you. But I used to be kind of ashamed of those things. And now I'm just like, wow, I can't believe I survived. There was like a Shaman Patrick death watch. Like, people were expecting me to die. It was that bad. It was like watching people die. And there were a lot of people who were making fun of me as well. But shit, bitch, if I can recover from that shit, so can anybody. It got so bad for me. Good Lord. So yes, yes, you can begin as a beautiful disaster, but the point is growth. Heal, evolve, level up. Don't just sit in the mud journaling about your trauma forever. Show us that the mud can grow lotus flowers. Isn't that awesome? But your real power comes from your own style. Authenticity is infectious. When you speak in your own voice with your quirks, your humor, and your scars, people feel it. And when they feel it, they relax into their own authenticity too. This is how you give permission, not by telling people to be themselves, but by showing them what it looks like when you unapologetically are yourself. So don't sand off your edges to fit the mold of what you think a spiritual teacher should sound like. Maybe you swear, maybe you're funny, maybe you're blunt, maybe you're kind of pissed off by things. Maybe you like to put on makeup while talking about shadow work. Good, use it. Spirit doesn't want clones, it wants originals. Now, you can copy from what other people are doing. When you're doing music, many people try to sound like other people, but eventually you end up sounding like yourself. But eventually you just kind of have to be yourself. You kind of have to be yourself. Because with you being authentic, look, we may not be to the level of a famous spiritual teacher. They may not exist in the way that they used to anymore. Eckhart Tolle is like a rock star. Same with Teal Swan and maybe Aaron Abkey and Marianne Williamson and Wayne Dyer and Abraham Hicks and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? It's fine to just be our normal little teachers. It's fine, because here's how I feel. If it helps one person, it's worth it. Totally. Because if you think about this, I don't have any aspirations of being a huge, big spiritual teacher. My aspiration is to help that one person. That's what I'm thinking about. Every time I make a video, I'm like, there's that one person that's going to be helped by something that I say. And it's either going to help them get sober or help them become a better parent. And think about this. If let's say a mother decides to be a more conscious parent, well, that's going to help her child, and then her child is going to help. So it's like a ripple effect. And it doesn't matter if the video that I'm making today gets seen by 2 people or 1,000 people. It doesn't even matter. The act of making it, the act of just teaching it, of doing it, is enough. Yes, this shit is real. Yes, it works. Yes, you can heal from almost anything. That guy, there's no reason. There's no good reason why I should still be alive. There's no good reason. The only thing that could have saved me was God and a spiritual healing. And this was made on May 26th, 2016, 8 years ago. And most people die from this shit. Most people do die from alcoholism and stuff. So when I tell you it got really bad for me, people believe me. It did get really bad for me. And I'm glad that I made all those videos where I still taught, even though I was very sick, even though I was very drunk, I still taught. And the stuff that I taught about, I was just teaching from books, but I still did it. It was pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. But there's only one teaching, but say it your way. All spiritual teachings boil down to the same thing: love, presence, shadow integration, ego death, surrender. Pick your flavor, whether it's Jesus, Buddha, Rumi, or a yoga teacher named Chad. It's the same soup with different spices. So if you come up with a new way to say it, awesome. People love fresh metaphors, but don't waste time stressing over originality like you need to discover the quantum law of angelic hair follicles to be taken seriously. You can teach straight from what's already out there and no one will care. In fact, they'll thank you. People often need to hear the same truth 147 times in 147 different voices before it lands. And when you share from existing teachings, you tap into a built-in audience. Quoting Rumi doesn't make you unoriginal, it makes you relatable. Reframing the law of one for TikTok doesn't make you a thief, it makes you useful. So stop overthinking. The truths are eternal. The style is what makes them yours. And it's an unconscious world full of unconscious people. And a lot of people go through their awakening. Shamans go through their initiation. In America, you have a shamanic initiation. How much help are you going to get? Probably none. You might end up in a mental hospital, a mental institution. It's where most initiating shamans end up in this culture. So when you decide to share your experiences in awakening, you help other people feel not so alone. Because we're not special and we're not unique. Nobody is. Everyone's awakening is about the same. We all have the same revelations. And that's the cool thing about it, because many of us might have lived a life where we thought we were special and unique. And then we get around some other people and they're like, oh yeah, I thought I was Jesus too. Oh yeah, I had to do some shadow work. Oh yeah, A New Earth, I've read that. So when you're a spiritual teacher, you're more like a spiritual friend or a co-experiencer. and you can teach stuff. Sorry, spirits are trying to take my voice again. Good Lord. Why would you be trying to take my voice? Excuse me. Okay. So if there's something that you want to know more about, hit the books. You can teach from it. This is one of those books that I think everybody should read. And when you have to teach from something, you learn it even more. When I got married to Merrick, he wanted to know about stuff. He wanted to know about ego and pain body and shadow and all this stuff. And I had to teach him that. Well, I wanted to teach him that. But it was such a cool thing how God matched us up, because I had to hit the books. I had to, he would have a question and I would have to find the answer. And so grab a book and teach from it. Like, what do you want to know about? What do you want to know about? Sometimes people will pick up A Course in Miracles or The Law of One or even a Seth Speaks book. It doesn't matter what it is. Whatever you want to know more about, teach it. Teach it. But there are some personal qualities that I have heard from and I've seen that you might want to develop. Empathy and compassion. You may have gone through the fire and emerged, but remember where you've started. You know, some people can get kind of hard, especially in recovery circles. You know, people who've been 10 years sober, it's easy to forget how you were when you were in your first week of sobriety. You're like, ugh. So carry that compassion forward. Realize that the people that you're helping and the people that you're teaching, they are where you have been. And so that empathy and compassion, that, you know, they're scared. They're full of questions. They don't know anything. Why are spirits trying to take my voice? One moment. I had to clear some stuff out. But that empathy and compassion, essentially, just carry that forward. And if you're teaching, and here, integrity and honesty, if you're teaching abundance mindset while Venmo requesting your mom for gas money, maybe hit pause. Align your life with your teachings. You know, that's why Merrick and I don't talk too much about money, because money's kind of an issue for us right now. Wait, my phone's ringing. Well, hello, baby.
Hey, how are you?
Good, honey. So I was making this video about, you know, people becoming a spiritual teacher. Do you remember when you had all those questions for me and I had to hit the books?
Yes.
And we did shaman school in the mornings?
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, it was really great. But I told people on the video that the best way to learn things is to teach them.
Yeah.
And
seems about right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like if you want to know about the shadow, try teaching about the shadow. And I know that on our live streams that we did every morning, you learned a lot just by pulling cards for people and having to examine. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I did.
So I think becoming a spiritual teacher is the best way to learn spirituality.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely forces you to learn.
Forces you. Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did you know that that the victims of Jeffrey Epstein are releasing their own list?
Really?
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I'm curious to see how it goes.
But they just did a press conference and I'm like, wow, this is a good turn of the op to get people interested in seeing the list, because if it was just released, people probably wouldn't have paid that much attention to it. But if it comes from the actual victims, then it means something.
Dude, that's a good point.
Yeah, I love how this psychological operation is turning out.
It's playing out very funnily.
Yeah, it is.
Very much
and everything is unfolding exactly how it should.
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm going to get into that in the video later for those of you watching. For my husband, I'm going to let you go so I can finish watching this video.
All right. Love you. Love everyone watching. Thank you.
All right. We all love you, Merrick.
Bye.
Bye. Now back to what I was talking about. We're going through some financial weirdness right now, for various reasons. But I'm not going to teach y'all about money. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to teach you guys about relationships or anything that I'm currently having an issue with you. But if I want to know more about something, I need to teach about it. More on that later. So self-awareness, the biggest spiritual disease is a swollen ego. The second biggest is pretending you don't have one. Get honest about yours. And I think teaching about ego is really good. That'll sort you out, teaching about that ego. But for people who pretend that they don't have an ego, or demonize the ego, or ignore the ego, the spiritual ego is so nasty and malevolent. You really want to take care of that. You really want to take care of all that stuff. And I think the best books about ego are A New Earth and The Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. I think those two books are really good for ego issues. Our book on ego is for a specific person who has family members or close friends or coworkers who keep saying shit, and it helps you learn how to ignore all those machinations of ego. And open-mindedness. If you think your way is the only way, congrats, you're already a cult leader. Encourage people to find their own way to the truth, even if it's different from yours. And a reminder, we have a cult-free guarantee. Your peace of mind guaranteed. We're not starting a cult here. And so you'll notice this, like, people will come and go with videos of mine. They'll watch a few, then they'll go away. They'll watch some more. So people are, the cool thing about the guru paradigm being ended is that we can hear from a lot of different people. We can get a lot of different perspectives on this stuff. Many spiritual teachers flat out fucking contradict each other, and that can be really rough. But I recommend for a time, stick to one teacher and become an authority on a book or a practice or something. Become an expert on something, because if you can become an expert on like one spiritual teaching, the other ones will be a piece of cake for real. But when we don't want to tell other people how to live, because we're living our life and our life is appropriate for us, with the exception of maybe, hey, don't do drugs, don't do anything dangerous. Otherwise, I don't want to tell people how to live. Hey, if you are a lesbian and you want to marry another woman, go right ahead, even though that kind of life would not work for me at all. It wouldn't. Many people, if I told people, hey, just be gay. Hey guys, you want to have a fun life? Be gay. Because all we do is hang out, cuddle, eat, and play video games. But see, that's not a good life for straight men. Now wait. While straight men might like that life, they may not like some of the other aspects of living with a man, like beard burn and morning wood. So if you're gay, you could marry another man, but straight men, stick with the ladies. But you see, we can't really tell people how to live their life because they are not us. Most of the stuff that I talk about comes from the perspective of being a gay man. I don't know much about female anatomy or women at all. And it's weird because almost the whole audience of this channel is women. Explain that. Explain that. Isn't that fascinating? Because it doesn't matter. Because I focus on the teachings a lot. And I think, and I'm going to say that maybe women like hearing from somebody that is not sexually attracted to them. Maybe women might feel better at talking to a man who they know is not ever going to try to get in their pants. I'm not interested in what ladies have down below. I'm not even really interested in what other men have down below. Now, I'm not that person, but I'm very open-minded. And being open-minded means constantly weighing evidence against your favored beliefs. And I do that on a daily basis. It can get a little exhausting, but suffice it to say, lifestyles are good for other people, and we can't really tell people how to live. So for instance, veganism is good for some people who have bodies set up for that. I've heard Shaman Patrick talk about this. For some people, they have vegan bodies. And so veganism is good for them. But for people who aren't set up for that, that eating meat is good for them. And so, people can get a little hardcore on this vegan stuff. And, I've made some videos about smoking and caffeine and all of that. And I like vaping. I like that. And, but other people might say, well, Patrick, that's not good for you. That's not good for you. But it's good for me right now. It's the same thing when people are doing drugs and drinking heavily. It's the medicine for that time. Even though I encourage people to get sober, like if you want the true, real awakening, you're going to want to be sober for it. You don't want to miss a thing. But I do know that people are still going to drink and smoke and get high and do meth and all of that kind of stuff. And the only reason somebody would do that kind of stuff is they are in so much pain that reality itself cannot be endured. So I'm not going to shame people for doing drugs. I'm not going to shame people for drinking. I'm going to encourage people to not do that, because drugs and drinking and stuff like that is very toxic and poisonous to you. Even vaping might be toxic and poisonous. But first things first, let's get you off the meth. Hey, I don't do meth anymore. Isn't that something? And I mean, you can look back at this video that I was on here. You see what drugs and drinking will do to you? I mean, come on, right? But other than that, I generally don't tell people how to live. Also, some people can eat toxic food and be okay. Some people can eat fast food every day. I mean, for me, I found that once I took a break from it, like I quit eating fast food for about a year, and then I tried to go back and eat it, and it made me sick. And I have a suspicion that if you stop eating that stuff and then you try to go back to it, it is making you sick, but you don't realize it because your body never gets a chance to recover from it. Like, you might not know how sick it's making you, but some people claim that they're fine. They can eat fast food and they have no ill effects. And you know what? I just kind of have to believe them. I don't see how that's possible, but they report that they can eat toxic fast food and be fine. Some people even say they can take copious amounts of drugs and stay conscious. I personally have not seen that. Kind of the same way that people say that they were able to quit drinking and not have to learn how to live as a sober person, that they were just able to, like, boom, I'm done drinking, and now I'm absolved of all the things I did wrong and all the things that people did to me. I've somehow managed to quit doing this thing that warped my thinking and warped my relationships and warped my mind. And all of a sudden, it's all ironed out. All my relationships are perfect and everything's fine. I have not seen that really happen to people who quit using substances, even though some people report that they've done that upon closer examination. Like, I've spent time with people who have quit drinking like that and say, it just stopped for me. But I've also seen them yelling at people, having road rage, lying, gaslight. So they took away the substance, but they're still an asshole. I've seen lots of that. That's usually what happens. But there are some people who claim to have quit drinking and that they're fine. They might still be assholes, but at least they're not drinking. But if you quit drinking and you're still an asshole, you haven't really recovered. That's what's called a dry drunk. But some people say that they've done it. I have yet to see somebody quit a substance and become a better person. Usually they become worse people. And what's good for us may not be good for others, but we can take a hard line against anything obviously unsafe or dangerous. Some people are breatharians and they say they can live off air, and that might be good for them. But if I tried to live off air, I'd be a hungry bitch, yo. I would be hungry. I'd be like, get me some tortilla chips. Can I please have some salsa? this air is not filling for me. I know Aaron Abke right now is on this vegan thing, and he says that animals suffer. And then my shamanic perspective is that the animals that we eat know that they're going to feed us. It's like, in a way, it's their purpose, and it's a gift. And it's like every time I eat an animal, well, I eat hamburgers and steaks and stuff. I don't actually, eat the animal. But when I do that, I do recognize that there is, that an animal did give their life so that I could eat. I'm very grateful of that as well. But see, I know that the animal already knows it's going to be a hamburger. The cow already knows it's going to be a hamburger, but the cow has a life before then. So when you project, and I think it's a lot of anthropomorphization too. Like, you're projecting human feelings onto animals. Animals do not suffer in the way that humans do. The ego is the root of all suffering. So in a lot of ways, I think vegans have sort of taken this idea that animals suffer and they don't want to contribute to any more suffering. But if you're not well fed, if you're not nutritional, if you got brain fog, that's causing yourself to suffer. I say, don't fucking worry about it. Eat what you want. Like, this is the world, you see, because we're all perfect. Everything is happening exactly the way that it should be. Now I'm going to quote a Prince song here, and I think this lyric from a Prince song sums it up perfectly. O Lord, love thy will be done. Since I have found you, my life has just begun, and I see all of your creations as one perfect complex, no one less beautiful or more special than the next. We are all blessed and so wise to accept thy will, love, be done. The reason that people eat animals is because they're really tasty. And we live on a planet where you can eat anything, and pretty much even stuff that might kill you. You can even eat mushrooms. But the vegans tend to want everybody to be vegan. There's not that acceptance, but it takes all types of people to do this. So when we're a teacher, I found that if we tell people that there's one way to live, really, there's one way to live. I think getting 8 hours of sleep, being on a sleep schedule, is incredibly beneficial, because I remember what life was like when I wasn't on a sleep schedule. Even today, if I get off my sleep schedule just a little bit, I don't feel so great. So even though we can encourage people, we could share, hey, this works for me. But again, I can't tell people how to live. We should not tell people how to live unless they ask us. Some people ask me questions, but the vegan shit and right now they're like, don't wear synthetic clothing. And I'm like, man, don't wear this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. It's a little crazy, isn't it? But I personally think that everything has consciousness. Things affect you if you want them to affect you. Things don't have to affect you if you don't want them to. Like, you could take drugs and have them not affect you. I heard this argument once. Like, somebody said, Patrick, I take mushrooms and they have no effect on me, so I'm going to continue to take mushrooms. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Why would you waste the money to buy something that doesn't really affect you much at all? Because don't mushrooms cost money? Like, don't you have to pay? And isn't possessing them illegal? So you would go to jail for something that doesn't really affect you at all? Crazy. But I like that Prince quote because it lets you know, I see all of your creations as one perfect complex, no one less beautiful or more special than the next. I live by that song, Love Thy Will Be Done by Prince. Martika sang when it first was released, it was Martika, but there's a version by Prince. I may have mentioned I'm a little bit of a Prince fan. A lot of it. Okay, so here's the other thing. Develop teaching skills. Strong communication. If you can't explain the ineffable in plain English. You're just a mystic mumble rapper. Clarity is compassion. And don't just preach love, be less of a jerk to the barista. Don't just talk forgiveness, stop obsessing over what your family did or didn't do. Talking about me? Talking about me? Live it, heal it, and embody it. Guidance and support. A teacher isn't a savior. You're more like a hiking guide. You've been on the trail, you know where the bears hide, and you've got snacks. Yes, bring us those snacks. But the word salad has got to go. If you sound like a broken blender full of half-digested buzzwords, people are going to tune out. Spiritual word salad stuff like activate your crystalline light codes to embody fifth dimensional sovereignty isn't profound, it's noise. Clear, simple language is the real flex. If you can explain deep truths in a way that a tired single mom, a cynical skeptic, or a teenager on TikTok can actually understand, you win. Word salad is usually just ego in a robe trying to sound enlightened instead of being clear. I didn't know how bad the word salad was until someone close to me started talking that way. And I'm thinking, did we always talk that way? Did we always speak in that gobbledygook word salad? Did we? But I think if you get out of spiritual ego, that stuff doesn't make any sense anymore. I think that stuff only makes sense to the spiritual ego. I do. Remember, the truth doesn't need glitter. It doesn't need a thesaurus. It just needs to be spoken plainly. If your teaching only makes sense to you after 3 ayahuasca ceremonies and a dream journal, it's not wisdom. It's gibberish. Ditch the jargon. Say it straight. People are starving for clarity, not more cosmic alphabet soup. And while we're on the subject, people who name drop shit, they name drop the cultures that they visited, or they just name drop. That's always rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I've known some pretty famous people, but I don't name drop them. That's because it has nothing to do with what I'm teaching now. There is a pop singer that I used to help before she was famous. I don't ever talk about her. She's famous now. Y'all probably love her, but I don't ever say it. I don't ever talk about it. I don't name drop that shit. And I'm always suspicious when people name drop. Like our good friend Aubrey, he name drops a lot about all these people he's worked with. But I just think that's weird. Yeah, so what? I've worked with some famous people. I'm not famous. They are, but you know what? Nobody really wants to be famous. They don't. But yeah, I mean, I could name drop, but I'm not going to, bitches. I'm just not. So the word salad has got to go. Has got to go. Now, a community matters as well. Gather your people. They don't need to be enlightened, just curious and not allergic to truth. Growth happens in groups, not in your echo chamber. And yes, you still need teachers. Even Obi-Wan had a teacher. Don't pretend you're self-taught when you're clearly winging it. But I think it's okay to wing it. You can say, I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea what I am doing sometimes. I don't. But I do think that this next part is very important. Know your limits. Leave the therapy to the therapist. Listen, being a spiritual teacher doesn't make you a doctor, a therapist, or a wizard licensed to prescribe ayahuasca smoothies. You can absolutely critique psychiatry, call out the failures of mainstream medicine, and point out where the system misses the soul, but you cannot legally or ethically cross certain lines. That's somebody that I don't need to be talking to them right now. But you cannot legally or ethically cross certain lines. Don't play doctor. Don't hand out medical advice. Don't prescribe pills, diets, or treatments like you've got an MD hiding under your robe. Likewise, don't position yourself as a trauma therapist unless you actually are one. Spiritual guidance can support healing, but it's not the same as therapy. If you want to keep things above board, know what is legal in your state or country. Look into certifications for the practices you do want to offer: breathwork, coaching, meditation, Reiki, whatever lane you're choosing. It not only protects you, it makes you more credible. Your job isn't to replace doctors or therapists. Your job is to guide, to inspire, to help people wake up and find their own strength. Stay in your lane and you'll keep both your integrity and your freedom. Like I encourage people to be sober when they work with me, to have at least gone to therapy. Some people are very averse to therapists, and I get it. Many people don't want to go see a psychiatrist. I know that as well. But make sure that I'm a safe shaman. Like I'm gonna run things by. I've been in therapy. I have doctors. I've ran things by people, and I ask lots of questions. But I see some people promoting their trauma release therapies and stuff like that. I'm like, man, I can't really do that in my state. That can only be done by a licensed mental health professional. I think therapy is good for EMDR, active resolution therapy, and getting a sense of reality. Like I had to be convinced that my parents were crazy. Like I had to come to terms with that. And a therapist helped me do that. A therapist didn't tell me that. I wish, because a therapist won't tell you your family is crazy. No. I had to get to an addictionologist before that. But I'm like, man, why didn't you fucking tell me years ago that my family was crazy? That could have saved me a lot of time and money. But then I wouldn't have needed therapy. Got it. So don't be afraid to innovate. Tradition is beautiful, but tradition can also become a cage. Every teaching you love was once somebody's innovation. Buddha sat under a tree instead of bowing to priests. Jesus flipped tables in the temple instead of playing nice with religion. Your favorite teachers, they bent the rules, rewrote the script, and dared to say it differently. So why not you? And that's the song that we have today called Why Not You? And it's dedicated to all of you spiritual teachers out there. Why not you? You don't have to chant in Sanskrit, wear beads, or quote the Bhagavad Gita to be valid. You can remix wisdom into podcasts, TikToks, memes, or music if that's your lane. Innovation doesn't mean you're disrespecting the past. It means you're keeping it alive. The only rule is this: don't innovate just to look edgy. Innovate because you found a fresh way to open a door for people. If your twist on an old truth makes it click for someone who never would have picked up a scripture or self-help book, you've done your job. Sacred doesn't mean stale. Evolve the message. Spirit isn't allergic to progress. I remember I was on the Facebook shamanism group and I was talking about shamanism evolving, and somebody said, shamanism doesn't have to evolve, Patrick. And I'm thinking, but shamanism is always evolving because we're evolving as a people. Some people can be so fucking rigid about this stuff. Don't, these are sacred things. No, the reason that I'm a shaman is not because I wanted to be a shaman. It's because spirit fucking wanted me to be a shaman. Otherwise, I'd have been a stand-up comedian. And do you have a code of ethics and integrity? Now let's talk about commercial gain. Money isn't evil, it's energy. You can charge fair rates, sell books, or run workshops. Just don't morph into a spiritual pyramid scheme. If your teachings involve paying $999 to access the secret, you're not enlightened, you're Enron. And your job isn't to be worshipped, it's to guide people back to themselves. If you're getting high off their admiration, take a break. You're not the medicine, you're the reminder that the medicine was in them all along. You know, I took a vow of poverty when I started. I took a vow of poverty, and this is where that vow of poverty got me. Not so pretty, is it? You actually don't want your spiritual teachers to be in poverty because they're probably going to teach you from a place of desperation. And when I took my vow of poverty, I worked with people who probably took advantage of me. I mean, I didn't look too cute then, but some people might have been attracted to me or whatever. But I was desperate. I would take just anybody, and so you don't want your spiritual teachers to be in poverty. So I normalize getting paid and paying people for the stuff that they do. When you go to Wendy's, do you expect to get your biggie bag for free? No. Normalize getting paid for the things that you consume. movies, music, books. Because if you try to get something for free, you have to pay for it anyway. Essentially, you have to pay for it. If you cannot afford to work with a spiritual teacher, there are many books available out there. Sometimes people don't want to read the book. They just want to talk to the teacher. And I get that completely. But for those people who go around and say you shouldn't make money from spiritual teachings, looky here. This is an unconscious world. And if the unconscious people have all the resources, the money and stuff like that, that's an inversion of all of that. We should want conscious people to be able to make a living teaching consciousness. That way it'll encourage more people to get involved in teaching consciousness because they'll at least be able to make a living from it. Hey, we got a low bar here. We just want to pay our bills and pay our rent, and anything else after that is gravy. So I don't think anybody gets into spiritual teaching thinking that they're going to make a whole lot of money. And if they do, they're probably going to burn out really, really quickly. So I normalize people getting paid and paying and charging money for things because you want your spiritual teachers to create more things. You want them to be able to do it. It's why people who join this channel, they want to support me making more videos. So I normalize that stuff. And if anybody says you shouldn't be making money off of spiritual things, and I'm like, well, then people are going to make money some other way. And if people cannot make money teaching consciousness, they're going to have to do something else. I would rather people make money being a spiritual teacher rather than working at an Amazon warehouse. So I like to create a culture of like, yes, hey, you can make a living spiritually teaching. It's going to take a little work. It's going to take a lot of work actually, but you can actually do that. And in some ways, making it okay. You don't have to feel bad about making money. My God, why would hell, Elon Musk doesn't feel bad about making money. Other people don't feel bad about making money. And if an unconscious person like Aubrey Marcus can become a multimillionaire selling lies and supplements and shit like that, if Jeff and Shalea Divine, of all fucking people, can make money doing this, why can't you telling people the truth? But some people think that money is inherently bad. It isn't. It's just energy. Hey, if you live in the world, you're going to have to make money doing something. So if you want to make money being a conscious teacher, a teacher of consciousness, I fully fucking support that. You might have to be creative. You might have to work a little harder. It's a little bit harder to do than going to get a job at Ross Dress for Less, but you can do it. I have faith in you. I have faith in everybody. And I like to normalize that as well. So when somebody tells me, you shouldn't be making money teaching, you shouldn't be making money teaching spirituality, it's like, okay, well, I'll stop then because I got to make money somehow. I do. Everybody does. I'm not independently wealthy. And sometimes people who are independently wealthy do teach, and they do teach people for free. I know Shaman Patrick, who is somewhat wealthy, he does a lot of free work, and we do that as well too. So I'd like to just clear that up because you're going to have to make money doing something. And teaching spirituality and teaching consciousness and presence is a wonderful way to make a living because it gives back. It gives back. It's not a complete taking. It gives back. It's not an extraction, to borrow some language from our brother in Christ, Aubrey. But being a spiritual teacher doesn't make you special. It makes you responsible. You are not here to play guru dress up. You're here to live what you preach, share what you've learned, and help people wake the hell up without burning yourself or them out. Do your work, stay humble, and for the love of spirit, don't start a cult. We don't need any more cults. But where to begin? Forget waiting until you've arrived. Spoiler, you'll never fully arrive. Start now, open a YouTube channel, make TikToks, write long rants on X, formerly Twitter, but we all know it's still Twitter. Social media is the modern village square. It's where seekers hang out. It's where you'll cut your teeth. Will you get trolls? Yes. Will you cringe at your old videos? Absolutely. But teaching online is like lifting weights. It builds your voice, thickens your skin, and shows you real quick whether you actually have something to say. And that's all I have to say about this topic for now. I've been making these become a spiritual teacher videos every 3 months. Like I'll make one every 3 months, and I love it. I find new things to say every day. I don't think I'll get tired of saying things. But that brings us to the end of this episode. And now the very special AI song that I have for you today is one of my favorites. I'm like, yes, this one's a good one. It's called Why Not You? And it is a love letter from me to you to encourage you to be a spiritual teacher. I love you all so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Don't wait for perfection's crown. You wither while the stars burn down. Some of the strongest voices rose from the roots, from the throes. Crawl out from the shadows deep. Let your scars be the vows you keep. Your mess is a lantern, cracked but true. A blaze in the dark is waiting for you. Don't stay broken, don't stay small. Document the climb, show us it all. From the mud to the mountain, the lotus grew. Now the echo's calling back to you. Why not you? Stand up, speak fire, break through. Why not you? The world is waiting for the storm inside you. Why not you? Your scars